Some people collapse under pressure, and others, they adapt. They lose jobs and rebuild. They face rejection and become stronger. They encounter uncertainty and somehow stay calm while everyone else panics. So what makes them different? Are they born mentally tougher, naturally fearless, emotionally immune to stress? Not exactly. Mental strength isn't about avoiding pain. It's about learning how to move through pain without letting it destroy your identity. Because the truth is, life constantly changes. Your plans fail, people disappoint you, unexpected problems appear, entire seasons of your life shift overnight. And in a world that changes this fast, adaptability becomes a superpower. Today we're exploring how mentally strong people adapt to almost anything, not because they control life, but because they learn to control themselves. And throughout this video, we'll pull insights from two exceptional books. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. These books reveal something powerful. Your greatest strength is not what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens. Mentally strong people accept reality fast. One of the biggest differences between mentally weak and mentally strong people is this. Mentally strong people don't waste energy fighting reality. That doesn't mean they like difficult situations. It means they accept what is true quickly. Most people suffer twice, first from the problem itself, and then from emotionally resisting the fact that the problem exists. They keep thinking, this shouldn't be happening, why me? This ruined everything. But resistance drains energy. Acceptance creates clarity. Viktor Frankl understood this deeply. In Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl described surviving Nazi concentration camps while observing human psychology under unimaginable suffering. And one of his most important insights was this. Everything can be taken from a person except one thing, the freedom to choose their response. That idea changes everything, because mentally strong people focus on what they can still control, not what they lost. When life changes unexpectedly, they don't stay emotionally frozen forever. They adapt. They ask, what now? What can I still do? How do I move forward from here? And psychologically, this matters because the brain becomes calmer when it regains a sense of agency. Even small action reduces helplessness. This is why resilient people recover faster, not because they avoid pain, but because they refuse to become powerless inside it. They train themselves to stay calm in chaos. When chaos appears, most people react emotionally first. They panic, overthink, catastrophize. But mentally strong people develop something incredibly valuable, emotional regulation. They understand that intense emotion often creates poor decisions. And this doesn't mean suppressing feelings. It means not letting feelings control behavior. Ryan Holiday talks about this in The Obstacle is the Way, inspired by Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed external events are often outside our control, but our interpretation of those events is not. That's powerful, because two people can experience the exact same setback and react completely differently. One sees failure, the other sees feedback. One sees humiliation, the other sees growth. Mentally strong people pause before reacting. They create space between emotion and action, and that pause changes everything, because most regret comes from impulsive emotional reactions, not thoughtful responses. This is why mentally resilient people often appear calm during crises, not because they feel no stress, but because they train themselves not to feed panic. And over time, this becomes a psychological advantage, because calm thinking creates better adaptation. They stop attaching their identity to one outcome. Here's a hidden reason many people struggle to adapt. They attach their entire identity to one version of life, one career, one relationship, one plan, one image of success. So when life changes, they feel like they've lost themselves. But mentally strong people understand something crucial. Identity must be flexible, because life is unpredictable. If your self-worth depends entirely on one situation staying permanent, every change feels like a threat. But adaptable people build identity around values instead of circumstances. For example, instead of saying, I am successful only if this specific plan works, they think, I am someone who learns, grows, and keeps moving forward. That mindset creates psychological resilience, because circumstances may change, but character travels with you everywhere. This is why some people reinvent themselves repeatedly throughout life. New career, new country, new opportunity, new chapter. They don't see change as the destruction of identity. They see it as evolution, and evolution requires adaptability. Nature itself proves this. The strongest species aren't always the most aggressive. They're often the most adaptable. The same is true psychologically. Mentally strong people don't pretend pain feels good, but they do something most people never learn. They extract meaning from difficulty. This is one of the most powerful psychological shifts a person can make, because suffering without meaning feels unbearable. But suffering with purpose becomes survivable. Viktor Frankl observed that people who maintained meaning during suffering were often more psychologically resilient. Meaning gave them a reason to continue, and mentally strong people apply this principle constantly. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, they ask, what is this experience teaching me? That question transforms pain into information. Failure becomes feedback. Rejection becomes redirection. Difficulty becomes training. This doesn't magically remove hardship, but it changes your relationship with hardship. And psychologically, that changes everything. Because the moment pain gains meaning, the brain becomes more capable of enduring it. This is why adversity often creates wisdom. Not automatically, but when reflected upon honestly. Mentally strong people don't waste suffering, they learn from it. Another reason mentally resilient people adapt better: they don't expect perfection from themselves. Most people think strength means never struggling, but true mental strength often looks quieter than that. It looks like continuing despite uncertainty, recovering after setbacks, trying again after embarrassment, staying patient during slow progress, taking one step forward when life feels heavy. Mentally strong people understand growth is messy, adaptation is uncomfortable, and becoming stronger usually happens gradually, not instantly. That's why resilient people focus on momentum, small improvements, small adjustments, small recoveries. Because they know consistency matters more than emotional intensity. You do not need to have everything figured out to move forward. You only need enough courage for the next step. And over time, those small steps create transformation. At the deepest level, mentally strong people build stability internally, not externally, because external life is unpredictable. Money changes, relationships change, opportunities change, people change. But when your emotional stability depends entirely on external conditions, life will constantly shake you. Mentally resilient people build inner anchors, values, discipline, self-respect, perspective, purpose. These internal foundations help them remain steady even when life becomes uncertain. And that's the real secret. Adaptability is not becoming emotionless. It's becoming flexible without breaking. So remember this: mentally strong people are not people who avoid hardship. They are people who learn how to face hardship differently. They accept reality quickly, stay calm under pressure, adapt their identity, learn from pain, focus on progress, and build strength from within. Because life will always change, but your ability to adapt can become your greatest advantage. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Mindset Bloom for more content on psychology, resilience, self-mastery, and emotional intelligence. And comment below, what life experience made you mentally stronger? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.